Hey, welcome back to Cascade, Henry here. Today we're going to be having a look at how to juggle 3 clubs. That's these here, so this is a step up from juggling balls. If you've never done it before, stay tuned and we'll show you some tips and tricks on how to get started with this. So, juggling clubs is basically like juggling balls. So the pattern's exactly the same. You're still doing the cascade, just as we've learned in the 3 juggling balls. But with clubs, there's a bit more of them. You've got to get the spin right, and there's a few other things to watch out for. But with a bit of practice, you'll definitely have this down if you can juggle 3 balls comfortably already. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need a set of juggling clubs. So today I'm going to be using these. These are the Juggle Dream Trainer clubs. They're a pretty solid entry-level club, pretty robust. They've got padded handles, which are nice and comfortable. The weight of them is pretty good for learning with. And the one thing you want to watch out for basically is getting super cheap, short or light clubs that you might find in a cheaper juggling store. Not juggling store, a toy shop. But as long as you've got a set of decent juggling clubs, then you're good to go. You need a set of 3. You can get them in different colors or all the same. It really doesn't matter so much. It's more of a personal preference kind of thing. If you get different colors, you can follow them along. If you get the same colors, some people think that maybe looks a bit nicer, but it's totally up to you and it doesn't really matter. The other thing that would be useful for this is having some juggling balls. So if you've got some juggling balls to hand as well, then that's all we're going to need for this tutorial. First things first, we're going to have a look at how to hold the juggling club. So we're just going to need one just now. And the thing that I always advise people to do is to have a look for the tape in the middle and to have your index finger just touching the top there. And the rest of the fingers are lower down the handle. You're going to have it kind of relaxed, not too firm. You don't want to be really squeezing the club. Nice and relaxed. And then you want to throw it up and you don't want to be trying to put too much spin into it. The clubs are weighted, obviously they've got the weight towards the end there, so that's going to help it rotate. You just want to throw it up with a little bit of rotation and it'll carry on spinning around. If you put too much spin into it, it's going to spin really fast and lower, and that's going to be a lot harder to catch. And if you don't put too much spin into it, it's just going to rotate by itself naturally anyway. So it'll take a little while of just throwing and catching one up and down just to get a feel for the weight. So you're just trying to get a feel for the club, learn how it moves, and then try throwing from one hand to the other. Height-wise, you want to be going just a little bit above head height. You want to be keeping your elbows kind of in line with your body. You don't want to be stretching out too far ahead. And then a nice steady throw from one hand to the other. So just practice that for a while until you get comfortable. If you're finding that the spin's happening too fast and too low, try just throwing it straight upwards. Try not put too much spin in it. Think about just throwing it straight up and down. And once you're comfortable with that, we're going to move on to adding a couple of balls into the one club. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce 2 juggling balls. So hopefully if you're trying to juggle 3 clubs, you're already pretty comfortable juggling 3 balls. That is the prerequisite. So I would say if you're not comfortable juggling 3 balls, go back and practice that really solidly until you've got that pretty comfortable, and then you can try the clubs. So we're going to introduce the 2 balls. So I'm going to start with the 2 balls in my left hand and the 1 club in my right hand. I'm going to throw the ball first and then the club, and I'm just going to juggle a regular cascade, but trying to keep the club going. So hopefully you won't find this too tricky. The balls aren't going to collide with the club too much. There's not too much stuff in the air at this point. The throws, you are still wanting to do the throws underneath the other item. So the ball's coming across the club, is going underneath it. You don't want to go over the top, just the same as when you're juggling 3 balls. Okay, so once you've got 1 club comfortably down, we're going to look at doing 2 clubs. So 1 club in either hand to start with. I always start off the right hand, but it's good to practice starting off the left hand as well, so you can start off either one. So you're going to do a 1-2, so 1, 2. The throw's wanting to come underneath the original club, so this club's coming over and the second club is coming underneath. It doesn't want to go around the outside, it wants to come on the inside. So 1, 2, and then just try and catch them. 1, 2, and then you can practice starting from the left hand. And then you can just alternate it, so you can start right, left, and you can actually get a little bit of a rhythm going here. So you can do right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, and have them kind of following each other. And just practice this a little bit till you're really comfortable juggling the 2 clubs, because this is the bit, if you can do this bit, then you will be able to juggle the 3. This is the bit that's just going to take a little bit of practice. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at doing 2 clubs and 1 juggling ball. So this is going to be where it gets a little bit trickier. So we're going to start with 2 clubs in one hand and the juggling ball in the other hand. But first up, we're going to take a little look at the grip with the juggling clubs. So you're going to be throwing the one on the inside first, and then this one's going to come second. So you want to position this club so you can release it comfortably. The way I do this, there's different ways of doing it, but the way that I find it comfortable to this is to move the inside club down a little bit, a couple of inches, and you're going to push off with your 3 fingers here. So you've got your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger, and those are the ones that are going to push up. It might take a little bit of practice just to get that release comfortable so that you're able to do it and it's not spinning too fast or too slowly. You want to watch out that you're not getting it caught on the other club when you're releasing it. So you try and keep the outside club with the handle not really touching the other one, or at least like underneath the other one to start with. And then practice just getting that one to come across comfortably. So once you can do that, then we're going to get into the 2 clubs and 1 ball. So you're just going to do the same cascade pattern again. So you release the first one. So when you've been practicing earlier just with the 2 clubs without the balls at all, you're practicing getting them underneath each other. And if you can do that, this is the hardest bit, it's just making sure that they don't collide, and it's more about timing here, so you're not going to be able to get away with as much as you would be able to if you're juggling 3 balls. You're going to need to be a little bit more accurate on your timing so that they don't collide with each other. So if you've made it this far, well done. We're going to go on to the 3 clubs now. So this is the last little bit. So you're dropping the last ball and adding an extra club in. So this bit you're probably going to be dropping a lot at this stage and possibly hitting yourself in the head and things. That's just part of learning with clubs. So we're going to start again with the release from the inside of the clubs with the 2 hands, and you're going to carry on. So you're just going to try and get the timing right, make sure they're passing underneath the other clubs, keeping your elbows, try and keep them about in line with your body, a little bit in front, not too much. Throws just above head height, and don't go too fast, don't try and speed it up too much, try and keep it quite slow and steady. One thing I did when I was learning this is I would build up. So this is what I did with 3 juggling balls as well as clubs. So I would just try 1 throw, get comfortable doing that. Then once I can do 1 throw, I would do 2 throws. You get 2 down, you do 3, and so on, and build it up and just see what you can do. And if you drop one, say you get to 4 throws, you drop one, start again at 1. And it really is just this repetition is going to get your body used to it. It's going to get that muscle memory working. And then before you know it, a little bit of practice every night for a couple of weeks, and you're going to have this down and you'll be able to comfortably juggle 3 clubs. So hopefully you found that useful, and hopefully you'll be juggling clubs in a couple of weeks. It is one of those things you're going to have to practice, but if you've learned how to juggle balls, then you've got that patience and you will be able to do this. Just stick at it and you'll definitely get it. And once you can juggle clubs, then you can juggle all sorts of things, like a juggling trap that we've got here. We've got all sorts of crazy stuff that you can juggle. You can juggle knives and fire clubs, and basically anything you can get your hands on. If you can juggle clubs, then most small objects become possible. That's it for today. Hopefully you found it useful, and we'll see you in the next one.